Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon, and it is hot, hot weather already. Living in Abbeville, South Carolina, we're used to the southern heat. Okay, it's got a lot of heat, and also a lot of humidity. And that also brings in thunderstorms. We've had quite a few of those too here lately. But I wanted to talk to you about safety outside. How many of us we're kind of emotionally driven? We got those driver personalities where we want to work out in the sun, want to get stuff done, but we don't have enough brain to know when to stop. And I'm talking to me, okay? So this article is to me as much as it is to anybody else. But let's talk about that. And I found this article from redcross.org. So it's a very reliable source, redcross.org. And this is where we are talking about heat exhaustion. I've seen a lot of folks, pass out from heat exhaustion. I haven't done that. I've come really, really close to it. But let's talk about this because I want to keep you safe out there, okay? All right, now this again, extreme heat safety from redcross.org. An extreme heat event is a series of hot days, and we've had a few of those, much hotter than average for a particular time and place. So extreme heat is deadly, and it kills people more than any other weather event. You would think cold weather, but it's really the heat wave. So climate change is making extreme heat events more frequent, more severe, and last longer. But we can take action to prepare for yourself and for your loved ones. But I wanted to mention this. I know what they say about, the weather changing and all those things, but I remember back in the day, of course, I was a kid and we'd go outside and we would just stay in the hot sun all the time. But now this is back in the days before air conditioning. So we didn't have the air conditioning inside. I wonder if that's why we're having so many issues, because it's hard when you've been in the cold, okay, in like an extremely cold air-conditioned room, and then you go outside. I do that to warm up because we keep it kind of cold here, but I go outside to heat up. But I'm just wondering, are we doing our bodies any good? Should we be a little more relative, where, in other words, where it's not so cold inside the house, and then going outside? I'm just wondering if that could be causing the issue. Also, I've noticed a difference. If I'm drinking water, I've got my cup with me, got my mug with me with the top on it, and I keep that with me all the time outside. I try not to forget that. But what I've noticed also to body changes is when you have ice cold beverage, I don't know, it gives me a headache sometimes. I've noticed when I drink water, just plain old tap water. No, I don't want it hot, but I'm talking about kind of, an average heat water, and I'm drinking that versus drinking ice water. I'm just noticing a difference. Again, I get a headache. I guess from being extreme hot to drinking that ice water could be causing some issues. So let's just see if any of that is indicated right here in this article. Again, redcross.org. What should you do before extreme heat occurs? Sometimes just planning for it can help. So it says right here, learn how to stay hydrated, which is extremely important. You need to drink enough water to prevent heat illness. So an average person needs to drink about 3/4 of a gallon of water daily. Everyone's needs may vary. Okay, now here's one of the points. You can check that you're getting enough water by noting your urine color. So dark yellow may indicate you're not drinking enough. Okay, avoid sugary, caffeinated, and alcoholic drinks. No, I'm not going to have my coffee. Okay, if you are sweating a lot, combine water with snacks or a sports drink to replace the salt and minerals that you lose in sweat. Talk to your doctor about how to prepare if you have a medical condition or you're taking medicines. Now, a friend of mine is an esthetician in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so she mentioned this often. She said, I think you're not hydrated enough. And I said, what do you mean by that? And she said, I think you're not drinking enough water. And she said she could tell it from the color of my skin. And she said, you look shallow. You just look as if you're not drinking enough water. But now she's in the business, okay? She's an esthetician, so she's going to notice before the rest of us notice issues. She said, I said, I drink a lot. I drink a lot of water. And she said, what are you calling a lot? And I said, I get about 4 glasses a day of water. And she said, that's not enough, because she said, I see you with a coffee mug in your hand all the time. And I said, well, that adds to the water, doesn't it? And she said, no, it does not add to the water. She said, for every 1 cup of water that you drink, you need to drink 3 cups of water. And that's how you keep your body hydrated. So I guess that's where they're getting this drinking your 3/4 of a gallon of water daily. That is a lot of water, isn't it? And again, watch out for the color of your urine. That'll give you a lot of information about your body. Now, being prepared is extremely important. So this article also goes on to say, gather emergency supplies. So gather food, water, and medicine. Stores might be closed. Organize supplies into a go kit and stay at home kit in the event of a power outage. You may lose access to clean drinking water, so set aside at least 1 gallon of drinking water per person per day. Consider adding drinks with electrolytes, include sunscreen and wide-brimmed hats. So this is emergency supplies in case something happens with electricity. Now, they talk about having go kits. We'll keep a kit in the car, for emergencies in case there's a car issue, something happens there. But you need to think about your body as well. A lot of folks take better care of the car than they do themselves. I know I've done that too, but here's the go kit. At least 3 days of supplies that you can carry with you. Okay, include backup batteries and chargers for the devices, for your cell phones, your CPAP in case you have one of those, or a wheelchair. Also, a stay-at-home kit, at least 2 weeks of supplies. And then this is another point, have a 1-month supply of medication in a child-proof container and medical supplies for equipment. Keep your personal, financial, and medical records safe and easy access hard copies in case you need a backup. Okay, consider keeping a list of your medications and doses on a small card to carry with you. Okay, now we're still talking about making a place in case electricity goes out, so make a plan to stay cool. Do not rely only on electric fans during extreme heat. Okay, when temperatures are in the high 90s, fans may not prevent heat-related illness. So take a cool shower or a bath, or think about moving into an air-conditioned place is much better way to cool off. Now, spending a few days each day, or a few hours each day in an air conditioning can help prevent heat illness. Now, if you have air conditioning, be sure that it is in good working order. Another thing you might want to do in the springtime, also with your heating, especially if the access is outside for the machine, make sure there's no debris like leaves and things like that. Make sure you keep that area pretty clean. Now, if you do not have air conditioning, or if there's a power outage, you need to find locations where you can stay cool. For example, a public library. We need to be going to the library more often anyway, right? And get into reading those books. Maybe a shopping mall or a public cooling center. Plan how you will get there. Do that as well. Additional resources may be available from local government or community groups, depending on the side of your city or your town. Make sure you have plenty of lightweight, loose clothing to wear. Create a support team of people you may assist and who can assist you, and check in with them often to make sure that everyone is safe. Now, let me tell you what, like I'm going to use my mother for an example. Okay, so if she's always, worried about wrinkles on her face and stuff like that. So what she was doing is she was going outside in the heat of the day, like right at lunch hour, which is not wise to do that. So she was doing that. She had her hat on. She had long sleeves on, to keep from getting wrinkles. And she also had pants on. Well, guess what? She fell, because it was just total heat exhaustion. She wouldn't listen to me. So she fell and had a concussion on her head. So there are some things that you can do to be wise depending on the time you get outside in the heat of the day. I'll give you an example. Okay, I love picking blackberries. Okay, so we have some blackberries out here on our farm, and they're pretty easy to get to. So if Phil makes sure that it's clean around that area. But I don't go when the sun is shining heat down on me to pick blackberries. And one reason I don't is because that sun is just shining right down on you, and you can get heat exhaustion that way. The smart time to pick my blackberries is either early in the morning or later in the afternoon, because that's when all the trees are shaded over those blackberries. So there are times that you can choose whatever gardening event you have, whatever sports event you're going to attend, whatever. Now I know when Phil cuts the grass, he'll get a towel and he soaks it up with cold water and he puts that around his neck, and that helps. Also, I know of things that you can purchase. I think you can go to the sporting goods stores and get some of these, but you can get this. It's like I don't know what it's made of. It's some material and it stays cool. You can put it in the freezer or the refrigerator and for extra coolness, and just put it around your neck. What you have to think of is the pulse points. One of those pulse points is around that neck. Another area for a pulse point is right here on your wrist. I think I've mentioned this to you in previous shows before. And my grandmother would get a piece of ice. She loved working outside in the heat of the day, fall times. But she would work in her garden, and she would come in and just get a piece of ice. See, she knew that. She would get a piece of ice and put that right there on her pulse. Now you can put it here. You can put it on your ankle, right up here at your elbow is another good spot for you as well. That'll cool you down a lot quicker. Now, if you have a Yeti cup, you get some of the cheaper cups. You don't have to pay a whole lot of money for a Yeti. There are some good ones out there. If you just keep ice in it, even if you don't put water in it, just keep ice in it. And every once in a while, pull out that piece of ice and just put that along your wrist. And you're going to see a difference as well. Okay, let's see. We also went where we're talking about lightweight, loose clothing to wear, like a light color. If you've got something in white or beige or maybe a light blue, that's going to be a whole lot cooler rather than if you wear something darker color like a navy or a black or something like that outside, because it reflects that. And there's a reason in gardening, you hear about putting black cloths down to kill weeds and stuff. There's a reason for that. Okay, because that heat hitting on that black cloth is going to create so much heat that it's going to kill those weeds. Well, we don't want it killing you too. So make sure you wear lightweight clothing. Try not to wear anything tight fitting. If you can wear a shirt maybe that's kind of loose. And also the material means a lot. If you're going to wear something with a polyester blend in it, that's going to be a lot worse too. So make sure, again, that you're doing the right thing, and make sure you wear light, loose clothing. And let's go into a commercial break. I'm a little bit behind. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. So y'all hang in there, okay?
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you.
At Lamo
Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020. We're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
Because of your overwhelming support, our 1488 MyPillow has been one of the biggest sales in MyPillow history. I couldn't think of a better way to say thank you than to extend our wholesale pricing through Christmas. Get a classic standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Upgrade to a queen size, just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for only $29.88. And ready? Multi-use MyPillows, only $9.88. It's perfect time to stock up for Christmas gifts for everyone on your list. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our wholesale pricing. Including my classic standard MyPillows, only $14.88. But that's not all. I'm so confident you're going to love our classic MyPillows that I'm going to extend my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, orders over $75 ship absolutely free.
Okay, we're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. We're talking about heat exhaustion here. It is hot in the Carolinas, especially in South Carolina. And we moved from Alabama, and I'm not seeing a big difference in the weather conditions here. A little bit cooler, and sometimes those blackberries are coming in a lot sooner. So that's pretty cool. So we're here about the second week in June, and loving it here. But it does get hot. And I like to be outside. You can tell if you came to my house right now, you would notice the way the outside look versus the inside looks. Donna likes being outside. So there are some ways that you need to keep yourself hydrated. Okay, let's go ahead and learn emergency skills, which is something that we need to do, because what if it's you that's okay, but then someone else with you? Okay, maybe they pass out from heat exhaustion. Okay, learning emergency skills is extremely important. So learn how to recognize and respond to heat illness. Learn first aid and CPR. Be ready to live without power. Utilities may be offline. Be sure to live without power, gas, and water. You need to plan for your electrical needs, including cell phones and medical equipment. Talk to your doctor. Plan for backup power, which is something that everybody needs. You need a backup power. Now, you need to keep the backup power up to par, too, because if you don't have that activated, if it's battery activated and you don't have the battery up to par, well, then you're just done. You're not going to have any electricity. Plan to stay connected. Now, what you can do is sign up for free emergency alerts from your local government. Apps are out there readily available. Now, we have one from Fox Carolina, and that lets us know of any weather alerts, whether it's, we're having like damaging storms, or we're going to have rain, or it's heat exhaustion. All of those things are really important to know. It's on your cell phone, so it's really easy. Now, let me mention this too about cell phones. Okay, now a lot of us want to keep, because we don't have to pay for cell phones, and they are pretty expensive to get the good ones. And so I've got an iPhone. Mine wound up being for free. Now, how did Donna get a free one? Okay, I signed up a 3-year contract. I know I'm going to stay with this company anyway. So I went on ahead, and all of us have these really, really good iPhones. It's important to have a battery that's going to last. Now, if you've got a cell phone that's really, really old, okay, you need to replace that if you possibly can, if you're not going to buy a new phone. In most cases, like the iPhones now, they have those devised where you got to take it to somebody and let them change the battery anyway, which can be a hard thing to do. But anyway, make sure you have plenty of battery in your battery. Okay, now let me tell you, this is called battery upkeep in your cell phone or any other device as far as that goes. Batteries will build up a memory. Okay, so if you're constantly putting that phone on charge, whether it needs to be on charge or not, you're building up a memory inside that battery. So after a while, after say a month or so, I'm charging my phone whether it needs to be charged or not. It's going to think that every 30 minutes or every hour, if you're doing it like every 4 hours or whatever, that battery inside that phone is going to think, it's supposed to be smart batteries, but this battery is going to think, well, it's 4 hours are up, I got to be recharged again. So make sure you think about that before you charge the battery, before it needs to be charged. Okay, now they're telling you that these phones don't build up a battery, but I know they do. So that's another way, upkeep on your battery. Now, another thing that you want to do is keep this part right here of your battery. You need to keep that cleaned. If you're going to, don't put anything liquid, okay? Don't spray it with any kind of cleaner, no bleach, nothing like that, okay? So the best thing to do is to get a brush and dip the brush in rubbing alcohol, okay? Now don't put a lot of alcohol in there either. So let's pretend this is your brush. What you're going to do is dip it in rubbing alcohol, and you want to tap it just a little bit because you don't want a bunch of moisture to go inside there, because I'm telling you, if you don't keep this clean right here and you're putting that phone charger in there, let's just pretend this is it. Oh, here we go. There's a phone charger. And I put that charger in there like that, and there's dirt in there. It's not going to get the full charge. Okay, because the dirt and the debris and dust, because guess what? Anything like this, your computers, your cell phones, whatever, they are a magnet for dust. So again, to keep that clean. You also want to keep this clean. Now, let me give you some more advice on this. Okay, I want to clean both ends, okay, of this right here, because again, dust is going to get on the charger. So I want to make sure it's unplugged before I try this. I'm going to use the same technique. I'm going to dip my brush, get an old toothbrush or get a new one, just a brush that's designated just for cleaning your cell phone connectors. Okay, so I'm going to clean that off. I'm going to wash it, by the way, and then I'm going to dip it down into rubbing alcohol. And again, I'm going to gently brush. Make sure you don't just dig down into this section right here of the charger, okay? Because you don't want to bend anything down in there. So what you're going to do is just get your toothbrush and just gently clean it, just like that, okay? And you want to clean both ends. Okay, now, don't plug it in yet. What if there's some moisture in there and you plug it in? That can create an issue too. So you want to let it set for several hours to make sure. Best thing to do is just hang it upside down like that. Put it above your kitchen sink or whatever, somewhere where you can keep it upside down. You want to make sure there's absolutely no moisture in there, because that can create another issue, especially if you're going ahead and plug it in like right now after you just cleaned it. Could cause some kind of a little shock, I'm going to say. It could, may not, but it could. But again, keeping everything clean is the best way to make that battery last a whole lot longer in your lifetime. Okay, now I'm only going to charge it when it needs to be charged. Okay, same thing with your car chargers. Make sure you bring those in every once in a blue moon, at least once a month or so, and keep those things cleaned out as well, because especially in the car, and if you're driving down the road and you've got a car, you got a convertible, and you want the windows down, you're going to be bringing some dust inside, especially pollen, and especially in the early spring. You know, I've done that before. I've had the windows down and then walked to get inside the car, yellow stuff all over the place. Well, guess what? All that yellow stuff gets all into your electronics. It gets into everything. So keep everything cleaned. There's something you can buy. It looks almost like a loose, silly putty. I don't know what you call it. You can probably go to AutoZone, somewhere like that, and they can tell you what it is. So what you can do is get that stuff, and you'll just place it. Again, it's kind of like a silly putty type thing. And let's just pretend this is let's say you want to clean the air vents out on your car. Okay, you can get that stuff and you put it on it, and what it does is it soaks up dust. I've never used it before, but I've had a lot of you folks sending emails telling me about that. So I'm going to have to get some of that and try it out and see how that works. A good maintenance, keeping everything up to par. We're talking about heat exhaustion, but we're also talking about you've got to have your cell phone in case there's some kind of a weather alert out there, because when we're in the South and we got hot, humid weather, that's just a recipe for bad weather. Okay, now plan to monitor your local weather and news. Have a backup battery, a way to charge your cell phone. We talked about that. Have a battery-powered radio during a power outage, just in case something like that happens. Now, another thing you can do, we bought, because we have chickens, so we just bought 10 more chickens to add to the roost. And so, especially if they're baby chicks, okay, you want to keep a lot of air stirring inside when you get these babies. And so we bought a couple of fans, just little small fans, just like that, just to kind of keep in their little home that they're living out of right now. And so everything comes, hardly anything comes with this anymore. Okay, so you're getting basically just this part to charge up a fan or almost everything these days. So another thing that you want to do is, if it's battery operated, again, you want to make sure you've got charged up batteries. But I mentioned that little fan. So I bought it at Walmart, and it was like $6 or something like that. Now, just because something is a small fan doesn't mean that it doesn't circulate air. This thing actually circulates air. I think it's like the store brand of Walmart, but it's a little fan, about $6. And again, it's about this big around. I think it's about 5 inches in diameter. It's round. That little thing works. So the reason I mentioned that is it definitely does come with a charger. And if you get too hot outside and then the electricity goes off, get your little fan if the air conditioning is not working in the car, because this uses a lot less energy. So you'll just plug it in and just let the fan all over your face, okay? And that'll help you out real quick as well. Okay, now understand the type of alerts that you could get if it is weather related. Make sure you understand those and respond to them. Now remember this, we talked about this just a couple of weeks ago. A watch on any kind of a warning, weather-related warning, a watch means just be prepared. Okay, it could happen. Now, if they say warning, I mean, you need to get on it right now. Absolutely. Now, I'm going to give you a checklist on extreme heat. Okay, stay hydrated. Okay, and again, what does that mean? That means drinking enough water. Do without the carbonated if you possibly can. If you're going to drink a carbonated, remember this. Remember what my old friend Carol says, who's an esthetician. She says for every cup of caffeinated drink that you have, you've got to drink 4 cups at least of water so that you can stay hydrated. Okay, so again, in extreme heat cases, make sure that you drink plenty of water, at least 3/4 of a gallon of water. And again, everybody's needs could vary on that. We talked about gathering emergency supplies just in case something comes up, and the electricity goes off and someone has heat exhaustion, that kind of thing. So I just want to keep you around, and so we're giving you all these emergency things to do and make sure that everything's cool. Make a plan to stay cool. Again, plan your outdoor activities to a much better time. I've never understood people who have outside weddings this time of the year, especially in the South. I'm going to tell you what, I would not have a cake outside. It would melt. But be careful out there. I want to keep you around. Be careful. Drink enough fluids. Drink enough water. If you want to drink some Gatorade, stuff like that is okay as well. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope these tips help you out. Continue sending emails, and if you would like for me to have a particular show, particular topic, I'm always listening to you because you're the boss. You can send emails to Donna@donnasedge.com. That's Donna@donnasedge.com. You take care. See you next time.